Next order.
Order number 10, pronouncement of budget highlights and the revenue raising measures for financial year 2023-2024.
Before I go to that particular item, I want to make some communication. Communication from the chair on budget highlights and revenue raising measures. Honorable members of the County Assembly, the County Executive Committee members of Finance and Economic Planning and Revenue Management, Honorable Onesmus Muya Kuyu, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and I welcome you all to this sitting. Number 1, Section 132(1) of the Public Finance Management Act 2012 provides that each financial year, the County Executive Member of Finance shall, with approval of the County Executive Committee, make a pronouncement of the revenue-raising measures for the county government. Number 2, further, Section 132(2) of the same Act requires the County Executive Committee member for Finance to submit to the County Assembly the County Finance Bill, setting out the revenue-raising measures for the county government, together with a policy statement expounding on those measures on the same date that the revenue-raising measures are pronounced. Standing Order number 206A of the County Assembly provides for the procedure of pronouncement of budget highlights and revenue-raising measures. The budget estimates for the financial year 2023-2024 were received in the Assembly on 9th May 2023. The Budget and Appropriations Committee has finalized on the budget estimates to pave way for the approval of the Appropriation Act later today. Honorable members, when the County Executive Committee member for Finance and Economic Planning will be making the budget highlights and revenue-raising pronouncements, he will be heard in silence, pursuant to Standing Order number 206A, Suborder 3. I now take this opportunity to invite the County Executive Committee member for Finance and Economic Planning, Honorable Onesmus Muya Kuyu, to pronounce the budget highlights and revenue-raising measures for the financial year 2023-2024. Thank you, honorable members. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to make pronouncement on the county government of Machakos budget statement for the year 2023-2024. The theme, building a resilient community through sustainable food security and socioeconomic empowerment. Madam Speaker, it's a great honor and privilege to appear before the Honorable House today to make the public pronouncement of the first budget, policy highlights and revenue-raising measures for the county government under the administration of Her Excellency, the Governor, Honorable Wavinyandeti, in accordance with Section 132, subsection 1 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012. Madam Speaker, before I proceed, allow me to acknowledge the invaluable role played by the County Executive Committee under the leadership and guidance of Her Excellency the Governor during the preparation and subsequent submission of the financial year 2023-2024 budget estimates to the County Assembly. On the same note, allow me to most sincerely thank the Budget and Appropriation Committee for the constructive engagement during the review of the budget estimates submitted to the County Assembly on 28th April 2023. Madam Speaker, let me take this opportunity to thank the County Assembly for the meaningful engagement that continues to reinforce the spirit of mutual trust and good faith in support of the executive in the execution of their mandate. Indeed, this cooperation and collaborative efforts has enabled the county government to register a significant number of milestones in the last 8 months. Further, Madam Speaker, allow me to express my deep appreciation to all the stakeholders for their input, which informed the priorities of this budget. These stakeholders included members of various county government departments, committees of this House, development partners, national government agencies, private sector, as well as county residents through their public participation forums and written submissions. I want now to paint the economic situation. Madam Speaker, I stand here today to present the county government economic action plan, a plan for empowering the people of Machakos and transforming our county into a model of excellence in governance and economic prosperity. Before I elaborate on the fiscal projections and the strategic interventions to be employed by the new administration, allow me to highlight the economic and physical context in which the budget has been prepared. Madam Speaker, our budgeting process has taken into consideration the global economic situation. After a period of recession, the world economy is predicted to pick up some momentum and grow by 2.5% in 2024. Global trade remains under pressure due to geopolitical tensions, weakening demand, and tighter monetary and fiscal policies. Madam Speaker, the Kenyan GDP, that is gross domestic product, stood at 7.6 in 2021. However, this slowed down to 4.8 in 2022, owing to the effects of climate change and global warming. It is expected that the economy will rebound and grow to 5.5% in 2023, supported by public infrastructure projects, strong public and private sector investments, and appropriate economic and fiscal policies. Madam Speaker, the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, in their last report, ranked Machakos County among the top 5 fibrous counties with a gross county product, that is GCP, of 3.5%. As some of you may know, Machakos was the administrative center for the British colony, and it is the oldest administrative municipality in East and Central Africa, formed before Nairobi. Madam Speaker, the current administration is focused on helping the county reclaim its lost glory by propelling it to a city status. I want to highlight some key achievements since the new administration assumed office.
CC Finance.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Hold on a bit. Proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Judas Ndawa.
Take your seat, CC Finance. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Judas Ndawa, the area member for Matu Ward. Honorable Speaker, I'm raising on standing order number 27, which talks about extension of time. Honorable Speaker, aware that standing order number 27, sub order 2, provide that the Speaker shall interrupt business at 12:30 p.m. for the morning sitting. Aware that standing order number 27 is about 3, provide that the House may resolve to extend its sitting time. Aware that standing order number 27 is about 4, requires a motion to extend sitting time to be moved at least 30 minutes before the time apportioned for the adjournment. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move a motion that this House resolves to extend its sitting time until the business in the order paper is concluded. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I call upon Honorable Mheshimiwa Ngondi, the leader of majority, to second my motion. Thank you.
Honorable Majority Leader. Thank you, Majority Leader. I now propose that the question that this House resolves to extend its sitting and time until the business of the day is concluded. I wish to now put the question that this House resolves to extend its sitting time until the business of the day is concluded. As many are of the opinion, say aye. As many are of the contrary opinion, say nay. The ayes have it. CC Finance, you may proceed.
Madam Speaker, allow me to highlight some key achievements since the new administration assumed office. Madam Speaker, the Governor of Machakos County, Her Excellency Honorable Wavinya Ndeti, was sworn into office on 25th August 2022. The County Assembly was very, very instrumental right from the onset by helping constitute a government through the prompt vetting and approval of the county executive members, county secretary, and chief officers. Madam Speaker, the current administration has instituted strategic interventions which lay a sound foundation and provide a springboard for the execution of its mandate. Some of the milestones realized so far include establishment of task forces. Madam Speaker, upon assuming office, Her Excellency the Governor was keen to ascertain the true status of the county with regard to various constitutional and county government legislative requirements. To this end, Her Excellency established 5 task forces, which includes pending bills, audit and verification task force, vehicles inspection and audit task force, information, communication and technology infrastructure task force, human resource audit task force, and lands, housing and property verification task force. The reports of the above task forces will play a key role in providing crucial information for decision making and improving service delivery. Another achievement is a supplementary budget. Madam Speaker, through the support of the County Assembly, the county government prepared a supplementary budget that made it possible to roll out priority projects across the county in various sectors, including but not limited to roads, water, health, and revenue. Realignment of the current budget, that is 2022-2023, to Governor's Manifesto. Madam Speaker, the current administration embarked on deliberate move to realign the current budget 2022-2023 to Her Excellency the Governor's Manifesto and the pressing priorities outlined in the CIDP. I take this opportunity to thank the honorable members for supporting this initiative by adopting and approving the supplementary budget, which has enabled the county government to roll out some tangible development programs. Madam Speaker, the county government rolled out the Barabara Mashinani program, whereby we graded a total of 1,325 kilometers under the rapid resort initiatives across the county. In addition, we have 56 active contracts of road works spread across the county, and the works in progress. Madam Speaker, the government has committed to construct. The government has committed the construction of 19 ECD classrooms, the operationalization of the ECD feeding program, and upgrading of 2 vocational training institutions into centers of excellence. Through the realigned budget, we were able to desilt dams, carry out borehole casing and graveling, as well as repairing and equipping of boreholes across the county. Madam Speaker, to improve the welfare and conditions of our health sector, we have procured medical and laundry equipments, health management information systems, and boilers. CIDP 2023-2027 and Annual Development Plan 2023-2024 as part of the short-term achievements. Madam Speaker, the county executive formulated the 3rd generation County Integrated Development Plan 2023-2027 and the Annual Development Plan 2023-2024 through an intensive and consultative process involving the public and other stakeholders who gave insightful input. The plan integrates the Governor's Manifesto, which has prioritized 3 key pillars that include food security, social economic empowerment, and infrastructure development, with a primary objective of transforming the socio-economic livelihoods of Machakos residents to prosperity in line with our rallying clarion call, chakula mezani, pesa mfukoni. Improved revenue collection as part of the short-term achievements. Madam Speaker, the county government has continued to register increased revenue collection as a result of several austerity measures that are being employed by the executive, including but not limited to enhanced automation, consolidation of 211 pay bills numbers into 1 pay bill, among other measures. Seamless county operations. Madam Speaker, prudent financial management has made it possible to maintain seamless operations at the county, including timely payment of salaries for county staff and the county assembly at a time when counties are almost shutting down on the backdrop of delayed exchequer releases. The fact that we are able to pay our staff by 28th of every month has changed the negative narrative about working for county government and has boosted the staff morale, hence improving their productivity. Streamlining resource utilization. Madam Speaker, the county government has streamlined resource utilization for the departments to spend within the approved budgets and available cash flow to avert the chronic problem of pending bills. Let me highlight some strategic interventions to be undertaken by the new administration during the financial year 2023-2024. Madam Speaker, the broad development policies and specific strategic interventions intended for the implementation by the new dispensation provides a clear and progressive approach to transform Machakos into a bastion of social, economic development and prosperity. These policies, Madam Speaker, are anchored on the following 3 pillars and will be implemented while observing the principles of integrity, transparency, innovation, efficiency, and civic engagement towards empowering the people of Machakos and transforming our county into a model of excellence in governance and economic prosperity. To achieve this, the budget proposes the following strategic interventions. Strategic intervention number 1, environmental protection and access to clean water. Number 2, boosting food security. Intervention number 3, enhancing access to quality health care. Number 4, promote access to quality education. Number 5, investing in critical infrastructure. Number 6, empowering the youth, women, people with disabilities, and the vulnerable. Number 7, enhancing conducive business environment. Number 8, promoting and preserving the rich culture of the county. Number 9, building robust ICT infrastructure systems, operational efficiencies, and employee productivity. Madam Speaker, relative to these strategic interventions that the new administrations intends to implement and which are necessary to make a change, we are faced with budgetary constraints. To address this situation, difficult choices resulting to opportunity costs must be made to ensure that available resources are directed towards the priority areas. Madam Speaker, the executive will adopt innovative ways to better deliver services, including enhanced automation and digitization and leasing of assets and equipment to avoid hefty initial capital outlays and investment in non-core assets and through public-private partnerships. In addition, the executive will play a facilitative role by creating a conducive business environment to enable the private sector to thrive, expand economic opportunities, and create jobs. Allow me now to delve into the fiscal projections for the year 2023-2024. Madam Speaker, the county fiscal framework for the financial year 2023-2024 budget has been revised to take into account the Kenya Vision 2030, Medium-Term Plan 4, Bottom-Up Economic Transformation Agenda, and the national government pronouncement of the financial year 2023-2024 budget. Madam Speaker, the total revenue estimate for the fiscal year 2023-2024 is Kenya shillings 14.75 billion, representing an increase of 27% from the last financial year. This constitutes of equitable share 9.5 billion as compared to 9.1 billion for the last financial year. Own source revenue of 2.9 billion compared to 1.7 billion for the last financial year. Conditional grants of 1.9 billion compared to 610 for the last financial year. That tells you the confidence the national government has in the current administration. Madam Speaker, the government has instituted stringent austerity measures as well as elaborate strategies that will see the revenue grow exponentially to improve the percentage of wages and benefits of a total revenue from the 53% recorded in 2022-2023 budget to a favorable rate of 43%. That is a wage bill ratio. With the new budget, we'll be moving from 53% to 43%. We are towards the constitutional threshold of 35%. Expenditure priorities for the financial year 2023-2024 budget estimates. This budget, Madam Speaker, is anchored on the CIDP 2023-2027. That is a 5-year plan, and the annual development plan 2023-2024 that has been aligned to the national development plans. Through this budget, the county government will undertake the following specific programs and the identified strategic intervention areas. I'd gone through the strategic intervention areas, so I beg to go straight to the execution. Madam Speaker, I now expound on these points: environmental protection and access to clean water. Access to clean water is at the core of sustainable development and is critical for social economic development, healthy ecosystems, and for human survival itself. It is vital for reducing the burden of diseases and improving the health, welfare, and productivity of the citizenry. It is at the heart of adaptation to climate change, serving as a crucial link between the climate systems, human society, and the environment. With this realization, the government has allocated Kenya shillings 703 million towards water resource management, irrigation, sewerage systems, and sanitation management, environment and natural resources, as well as climate change. Madam Speaker, universal access to clean and safe water for all is a prerequisite for a healthy population and food security. Noting that Machakos County is currently water scarce with less renewable fresh water. Out of the 703 million, I do propose Kenya shillings 393 million for various programs to enhance accessibility to clean and safe water for domestic and agricultural use. This consists of a proposed allocation of 137.5 million for drilling, rehabilitation, and equipping of boreholes. I further propose Kenya shillings 224.5 million for the construction and desilting of dams and rehabilitation of irrigation schemes. And a further 10 million for construction of weirs. To boost our internal capacity, and the internal capacity I'm talking about are our own internal equipments, I propose to allocate 21.5 million for fuel and the maintenance of water machinery and equipments. Madam Speaker, a further 29 million has been proposed for the management of sewerage systems and sanitation. Madam Speaker, environmental conservation and response to the impacts of climate change are key in enabling the county to achieve its agenda, to conserve the environment, and to implement strategies to mitigate the effects of climate change. I do propose an allocation of 280.9 million. The other strategic intervention, which I would want to expound, is boosting food security. Madam Speaker, Machakos County is largely reliant on agriculture for its economic growth and job creation. Therefore, investment in this sector is a critical component of our industrialization strategy through value chain and agro-processing. To achieve this end, Madam Speaker, the county government endeavors to implement initiatives that are geared towards achieving food security for all. These initiatives include provision of affordable agricultural inputs, initiating and supporting community-based agricultural initiatives through cooperatives, supporting agribusiness by sourcing for markets and value addition, organized training programs for farmers, mainstream climate change issues in agriculture policy, establishing network with research institutions, and provide access to adequate water for agricultural activities. To support those initiatives, Madam Speaker, I propose an allocation of 904 million for relevant programs in this budget. Out of this, 195 million has been proposed for a fertilizer subsidy program. 105 million for emergency locust response program, which is an ongoing program. A further 250 million for national agricultural value chain development project. A further 90 million for Kenya Climate Smart Agricultural Project, KSAP, which is an ongoing project. A further 50 million for construction of silos and you do agree with me that we have a lot of post-harvest losses. And a further 69.4 million for certified seeds and crop diversification. Madam Speaker, to improve livestock production in the county, I propose Kenya shillings 35.8 million for livestock value program and 10.5 million for the purchase of certified pasture, breeding stock and specialized plant and equipment. To enhance animal disease control, I have proposed an allocation of 13 million for the purchase of motorcycles to enhance ward-based farm extension services, vaccines and slaughterhouse renovations. You do agree with me, we need this strategy, this particular area needs mobility, because it also borders on public health. Madam Speaker, I have further proposed an allocation of 16 million for the construction of livestock yards in major markets in order to control the handling of livestock for enhanced revenues. Madam Speaker, the current administration is cognizant of the opportunities that the blue economy presents. To nurture this sector, I have further set aside 17.3 million, out of which 15.4 million will be allocated to aquaculture program and 1.9 million to establish fish seed pelletizers and pond liners. I propose to allocate 25 million for the operationalization of an agricultural training center to train farmers on modern agricultural practices. Of this, 10.5 million will be used for the refurbishment and equipping of the training center, while 14.5 million will be made available for the purchase of certified seeds, breeding stock, and live animals. Madam Speaker, the importance of farmers' cooperative societies in the growth of our economy cannot be overemphasized. The government is keen on initiating and supporting existing community-based cooperative societies, particularly in areas of coffee, dairy, avocado, and beekeeping. To this end, I propose an allocation of 27.4 million towards the purchase of equipment, marketing promotion, and agro-processing. The other strategic intervention, that is enhancing access to quality health care. Madam Speaker, the saying and the dictum that a healthy nation is a wealthy nation resonates with the current administration's persuasion that the productivity and by extension, the economic growth of our county is directly proportional to the well-being of the people who reside and work there. For this reason, the government proposes allocation of 1.36 billion for the healthy programs. Of this, 365 million will be set aside for medical drugs and non-pharmaceutical supplies, while the balance of 994 million will go towards the rollout of other key programs. Madam Speaker, we plan to leverage on our geographical positioning and tap into the opportunities presented by the regional economic collaboration presented by Southeastern Economic Bloc, SECEB. Proximity to Konza City and the expected rail and road development by investing on the infrastructural development meant to upgrade Machakos Level 5 hospital to a referral hospital. This is expected to offer enhanced care services to residents of Machakos and its environs. To this end, I propose an allocation of 151 million to undertake phased-out construction works, 46 million and 124 million for leasing of medical equipment by county and the national government, respectively. That will go towards equipping of our health facilities. Madam Speaker, the government has allocated a total of 121 million to improve Machakos Level 5 hospital and maintenance of equipment. A further 78 million to improve the Level 4 hospitals, and a further 179 million for the enhancing service delivery. construction and equipping of community hospitals. That will go towards the primary health care. Madam Speaker, we have partnered with the national government in a co-funded scheme to construct 2 new hospitals in Mololongo, Syokimau, and at the river at a total cost of 195 million to cater for the high population. You do agree with me, 60% of our population is around those areas. Towards enhanced efficiencies in healthcare services and improved hospital revenues, I propose to allocate 100 million for the phased out implementation of a healthy information management system. Now we are moving towards creating sanity in the hospitals. We need to know who was where, when, and she paid what, and given what medicine. Promoting access to quality education. Madam Speaker, the role of education remains key to the development of the society. In support of this, the county government has invested heavily in over 220 early childhood development institutions. 19 of these are work in progress under the current supplementary budget across different wards within the county. This budget envisages the construction of an additional 25 ECDs at a cost of 35 million, bringing the total of new modern ECD classrooms to 44, meaning every ward will have a share. Madam Speaker, the prevailing climatic conditions and the state of the poor rains has led to prolonged drought resulting to increased poverty levels. I propose an allocation of 90 million in support of ECDs, out of which 75 million will be applied to sustain the feeding programs for our ECD, and 15 million will go to the purchase of educational aids. Which that means we have 25 million per term. So we want to make it sustainable. Madam Speaker, Machakos County is home to 40 equipped modern vocational training centers that offer technical training opportunities to our youth. We've set aside 35 million for the improvement of the TVET, investing in critical infrastructure. Madam Speaker, infrastructural development will promote economic recovery and act as an enabler for private business to thrive and take up more opportunities. This will draw more youth to employment and significantly reduce poverty. For this reason, the government has an elaborate plan to scale up road network to promote ease of movement and access to markets as well as interconnectivity. Madam Speaker, the government proposes to allocate Kenya shillings 879.2 million to the varied infrastructural development. Of this, Kenya shillings 376.5 million has been set aside for the development of major roads and grading of rural roads, 192 million for the construction of county government buildings, including 2 sub-county offices in Indidin and Matungolo, and a further 72 million for the hire and maintenance of transport equipment. You do agree with me that governments are continuous. We have to finish the critical infrastructure that was put in place so that we decongest and we give the staff adequate, conducive environment to work. To promote integrated development in the urban centers and the municipalities, the county government will undertake spatial planning and digitization at a cost of 42.7 million. You do agree with me that we have to support our municipalities. To enhance the security and to open up market areas for development, I propose an allocation of 75 million for county electrification, which will be achieved through installation of transformers, solarization, street and flood lighting. Madam Speaker, we plan to undertake urban regeneration and infrastructural development in Machakos, Mavoko and Kangundo, Tala municipalities at a cost of 50 million. Another strategic intervention, that is empowering youth, women, people with living with disabilities and vulnerables. Madam Speaker, as a government, we have instituted various policies to allow for the implementation of various targeted interventions meant to cushion the vulnerable groups in our society. In relation to this, I propose to increase the bursary allocation from the current 80 million budgeted for the last year to Kenya shillings 120 million this year. This is in addition to 35 million that has been set aside for capitation in technical, vocational education, training institutions. Madam Speaker, we have marginalized groups that include the homeless, victims of gender-based violence, and drug addicts. The government proposes to allocate 131 million towards number 1, construction of a children rescue center. Number 2, equipping of a gender-based violence center. And number 3, operationalization of the youth, Wikwatio, and table banking funds. Another strategic intervention, enhancing conducive business environment. Madam Speaker, the county government remains steadfast on the need to implement various strategies to create a friendly environment conducive for doing business. These strategies target delivering convenience around the payment of business permits and rates, building approval of permits, starting a business, waiver and the exemption of fees and charges on a cost-based analysis. Madam Speaker, the government is focused on promoting medium, small, and micro enterprises through construction and maintenance of market sheds, roadside sheds, modern kiosks, border sheds, modern bus stops, and public toilets. I propose to set aside a total of 102 million for the same. Madam Speaker, the government is well aware of the challenges faced by our farmers due to lack of ready market for their produce. I propose an allocation of Kenya shillings 200 million for the establishment of an aggregated industrial park on a co-funded scheme between the county and the national government. And I think towards this end, Machakos is among the 24 counties that are being picked to pioneer this. The cost is going to be 500 million. So if we do not give the money for co-funding, we stand to lose. So we do not want to have ourselves to blame for the generations to come. We all know the power of an aggregation center. This will facilitate the aggregation of produce and create a market for our small-scale farmers' produce. Another strategic intervention, promote and preserve the rich culture of the county. We do not want to lose where we've come from. Madam Speaker, we are focused on creating opportunities for the youth and present a platform for them to realize their potential through sports, culture, and recreation arts. To support this initiative, I propose an allocation of 61 million for stalled and new stadium development, sporting and cultural activities. You do agree with me, we have quite a number of stalled stadiums. And the Mwananchi has to get value for money. The government is deliberate in promoting the rich cultural heritage of the county and create employment opportunities by promoting tourism. With this realization, concerted efforts are being employed towards promoting the county as a preferred tourist destination, development of the film industry, and nurturing of the talents. I propose an allocation of that 1 million toward this noble cause. Another strategic intervention, building robust infrastructure systems, operational efficiency, and employee productivity. Madam Speaker, towards the enhancement of revenue and accountability. Madam Speaker, allow me to repeat. Towards the enhancement of revenue and accountability, I propose to set aside 110 million for maintenance and purchase of a revenue system to achieve enhanced automation and digitization of all the revenue streams. I further propose an allocation of 60 million towards computer and hardware and other ICT infrastructural development. We want to move to reduce the paperwork. The current administration is keen to optimize the use of public funds by implementing programs that have a socioeconomic impact on the people of Machakos. In this regard, I propose to allocate 100 million towards the leasing of the entire county fleet. This will not only save on the initial cost outlay, but also lead to cost saving and on vehicle fuel and the maintenance of new fleet. You agree with me, leasing is the way to go. The vehicles will come with all the systems to monitor efficiencies and misuse. Madam Speaker, human resource is the most important factor in production. The government is focused on enhancing the employee capacities and motivation for better productivity. To this end, I propose an allocation to allocate 45 million towards training, capacity building, and 200 million for staff comprehensive insurance. Even with the systems, when we don't take care of staff, then we don't have the executors. Revenue raising measures. Madam Speaker, the county government has remained overly reliant on transfers from National Treasury for service delivery and economic development. Despite the county's enormous potential in its own source revenue collection, it has recorded insignificant increase since the inception on devolution, save for the improved realized over the last 8 months. This trend can be attributed to the omissions and commissions that have characterized the revenue ownership, collection, and enforcement process. Madam Speaker, the current leadership recognizes that the key success for any government lies in the growth of own revenue source. Careful planning, prudent financial management, and adherence to corporate governance tenets. The county government will strive to employ the following strategic and tactical measures towards the realization of the projected on source revenue of 3.9 billion. That is in addition to 2.9 plus the 1 billion for the healthy revenues. So we are projecting to raise 3.9. We want to tap into that enormous first strategy, updating of the valuation role. Madam Speaker, property rates have a huge potential to yield high revenues to our own source revenue basket, but are hindered by outdated valuation rules and the computation of rates based on an improved site value. The proposed budget has provided for the updating of the valuation role to match the actual the land value rates, as well as digitization of the building approval process. I know the House agrees with me that we need to move from human intervention to credits, to digitized credit rating modules. The loss of the money is in the calculation, not in the lack of submission. Automation and digitization of revenue processes. Madam Speaker, this budget envisages the enhanced automation of revenue collection to reduce human intervention and curb leakages while exploiting the full potential of revenue operations. This will also enhance accountability in collection and reporting, as well as embrace cashless revenue collection strategy. I'll be talking out there to the general public that they shouldn't pay in cash. And if need be, we'll go to public policing. Every money has to come to the county coffers. Enforce performance contracts, targets, and reviews. The government recognizes the prominent role of target setting as a performance control tool towards the realization of our projected on-source revenue. We will thus enforce the existing performance contracts and carry out routine performance reviews, particularly with the revenue collection staff. Revenue mapping. And this sets the stage for the scientific setting of the targets. Madam Speaker, the current administration appreciates that revenue mapping is the real game changer in terms of establishing the actual potential to aid in planning and seal omissions and commissions in revenue collection and enforcement, to identify all the revenue generating opportunities and enhance revenue mobilization efforts. The government is currently mapping out all the revenue streams across the county. And what that means is we'll know who has which business where, how much we expect, so that the senior revenue officers are working on a task list. Separation of roles as a strategic intervention towards enhancing on-source revenue. We have realigned the administration, billing and ownership of the different revenue streams to be domiciled in their respective departments. This will leave the revenue department to only focus on managing the aspect of cashless revenue collection. According to the accounting of the collected revenue and the custody of accountable documents will be managed by the county treasury in line with the provisions of section 158, subsection 1 and 2 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012. So we are no longer going to have the collectors of revenue holding the permit. It is going to be an accountable document. We are no longer going to have the revenue collection accounting for the revenue. It will be accounted from the back office. Enact enforcement, fines and penalties and tariffs. Madam Speaker, the enforcement of revenue collection has been incorporated in the proposed finance bill, and the fines and penalties will be applied in accordance with the law. Capacity building and staff development. Madam Speaker, we plan to achieve efficiencies in revenue collection by improving the competencies of our revenue collection staff through training. Even as we task them to collect, we need to capacity build them. Equipping of the health facilities. Properly equipped health facilities will provide a one-stop shop for the provision of health services that will attract many patients. This implies that the county will collect significant revenues from health-related activities. County corporations. The government is in the process of restructuring and re-engineering the county corporations to enhance efficiencies in their operations and realize requisite net revenues to supplement the other revenue streams. You do agree with me? We have a lot of county corporations that are late to operate on their own. Now we are bringing them to the county dragnet. We are going to restructure them so that they are responsive to the needs. And in addition, they must generate revenues. The business of bleeding is gone. We are going to hold people accountable. Monitoring and evaluation. Monitoring and evaluation will be done continuously to assess whether progress is being made towards achieving the expected results, identifying bottlenecks in implementation, and highlighting an unintended consequence of revenue administration. Prudent, sound financial management, and that is what has taken us to where we are now. Madam Speaker, the current dispensation has been deliberate on the prudent implementation of the priority programs. We will endeavor to uphold the same and ensure that the county resources are applied with openness and accountability as provided for under Chapter 12, Section 201 of the Constitution of Kenya, 2010. Conclusion. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, I wish to thank Her Excellency the Governor for her guidance and support during the budgeting period. I also wish to thank my colleagues in the Cabinet for their support and understanding. Special thanks goes to the county chief officers for the pivotal and noble role they played. My sincere appreciation goes to the entire finance, economic planning, revenue management, and ICT team, led by their respective chief officers as they continue to diligently execute their roles. My sincere gratitude also goes to the House leadership for the exceptional working relationship during this legislative approval process. Madam Speaker, my appreciation also goes to the members of the Budget and Appropriation Committee, the Budget Committee's technical team, and all the members of the County Assembly through the various departmental committees for the fruitful engagement during the review process of the budget estimates despite strict timelines. Finally, Madam Speaker, I submit this 11th pronouncement of the budget highlights and the revenue-raising measures and hope that we will all work together towards building a resilient community through sustainable food security and socio-economic empowerment in line with our theme for this year. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, CEC Finance, for work well done. Thank you. The House adjourns to Tuesday, 20th June 2023 at 2 p.m. Thank you, members.